your Navy transition coach, and this is where I help you to navigate life both in and out of the Navy. I haven't seen the Navy offer such a huge bonus for such a little bit of time for so many people, such a broad range of people in like forever, in the whole history of me even being in the Navy. Let's see how you can possibly get this $20,000 bonus. So April 19th of 2023, the Navy Reserve fiscal year 2023 enlisted bonus policy came out, and here is the update. This is by Commander, Navy Reserve Forces Command Public Affairs from Norfolk, Virginia. Who needs to know? Okay, who needs to know? So this is for, these are the people who essentially need to know this information in this policy. All Navy Reserve activities, okay? All Navy Reserve recruiters or reserve recruiters, command career counselors, as well as command leadership, such as Triad or the Chief's Mess. Triad is essentially your CO, your XO, and your CMC. And then your Chief's Mess is essentially the Chiefs, which is the E7, E8, E9, essentially, okay? Okay, so what do you need to know? What are the key points? New accession training in AT or NAT and prior service sailors bonuses have been increased to $20,000 for only 3 years of CELRES service for all rates in the Navy Reserves. Do you understand how big that is? That is huge. It doesn't matter any rate that you have, any rate that can actually go to the Navy Reserves. Now, the caveat here is if you are on active duty, we're going to talk about the active duty and we're going to talk about the NAT, which is coming from civilian to the reserves, okay? If you are coming off of active duty, your rate is not always available in the Navy Reserves. Sometimes you're going to have to switch rates, okay? That's a big key there. So if you're like, hey, I do not want to be any other rate in the military besides the rate that I am on active duty, sorry, but this bonus isn't going to be for you, okay? If you want to be in the reserves, because you're going to have to switch rates because your rate is not available in the reserves. Now, sometimes it's not because literally the rate is just not in the reserves. Sometimes it's just not available. The job is not available. So just because you're on active duty, and I said this in other videos too, just because you're on active duty and you have a job, you have a rate, right? Doesn't mean it's going to be what you're going to be doing in the reserves. I personally, it seems like two different businesses. That's what it really seems like. It's all the Navy, but it's the Navy Reserves and active duty is very different. Anyway, so this policy applies to all NAT. Remember, NAT is new accession training. NAT and PS sailors affiliating with the drilling selected reserves on or after March 24th, 2023. Okay? What does that mean? It means that you had to have left active duty, right? On or after. So either the day of March 24th or therefore on, right? So March 25th, April 1st, such and such, and went straight into the CELRES. That doesn't mean you go to the IRR, which means inactive ready reserves, which means you don't do anything, right? And then you go necessarily. Actually, yeah. But anyway, we're not going to get into that. I want to keep it simple here. If you left active duty and you went CELRES on or after March 24th, be sure to ask your career counselor about this bonus, okay? If you signed your paperwork, your contract as a new accession training sailor, this might be for you. Ask your career counselor, okay? Here's some facts, though, that is very important. Number one, who is eligible? We really discussed that already. Who is eligible for this policy? New accession training and prior service sailors. What is excuse me, y'all. What is the effective date of the new policy? Again, March 24th, 2023. What makes a sailor eligible for the new bonus? Here's the answer. The sailor must affiliate with the drilling selected reserve on or after or between March 24th, and this is the key here, or between March 24th, 2023 and September 30th, 2023. Okay? September 30th is the last day. And to be honest, look, friends, this is what I'm kind of thinking about for myself, because $20,000 bonus, and I'm going to talk about why I'm kind of thinking about some things on another video, but I'm like, man, my contract for the reserves ends on September 9th, right? And I'm like, man, what I could do is get off of orders like in this contract, go ahead and be completely out, but join before September 30th, and $20,000 for me. I'm just kidding. Maybe not. Moving on. What is the minimum contract amount required? 3 years. A 3 years CELRES commitment. Okay, 3 years, and which is really, really good. Like, that's just a regular contract, right? It's the regular Navy Reserves contract. Now, if they said 6 years, I would have been like, 3 years is all you have to do. 3 years, man. Whoever's watching this right now and you have the opportunity to take advantage of this, you got it good. You got it real good. You got it real good. Okay, let's keep going. What rates are eligible for the new policy? All rates. So read, I'm going to try and say this right. All NAV Res 4 009/23 in its entirety. Okay. You do need access. Well, I'm going to say you may need access to the Navy Reserve home port to actually look at this and get all the information. But you can also, again, talk to your career counselor about all of this. Okay. Other additional resources for this is for the enlisted bonuses can be found at CNRFC N112. Okay. Again, go to Navy Reserve home port. If you're already, on active duty or in the reserves, use your CAD card, get on the website and look at this information. You can really just Google it. Google $20,000 Navy Reserve bonus, and you'll be able to look at the very same thing that I'm looking at, and it has links on there already. So this is on the Navy Reserve, I guess the site or the portion of the site where you don't have to log in. Okay. And then there's the point of contact email. You can email them as well, but I'm not going to give you that email. You go search for this information for yourself. Okay. All right. So let's talk real quick about why you should take this. Let's talk about why you should actually take this. And then we're going to talk about why you should not. Why should you take this $20,000 bonus? Because it is a once in a lifetime thing. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that when you leave active duty, it's not always what you think. It's not always, oh man, I'm finally off of active duty, I can rest and relax and do what I want. That's gonna get exhausting really quick. Like, yeah, it's not gonna be what you think forever, right? Sorry if my camera is kind of shaky. I'm on my laptop using my webcam, which is really nice, isn't it? Nevertheless, it's kind of windy out here if you can't tell. But yeah, the Navy Reserves is a great option, right? When you decide that you want to finally get back to doing something. It's not all the time. It's literally only 2 weeks, 2 weeks a year, which is your annual training, AT, and then your 1 weekend a month, a Saturday and a Sunday out of the month. And that's it. And if you watch some of my other videos, I kind of tell you how to get around having to do, every single month for 3 years or however long your contract is. you know, you can take some of the drill weekends and compact it within a week or something like that, you know, just work it out. I'm actually thinking about doing that myself so I can work with a career counselor, because I am interested in being a career counselor, which again, we'll talk about that on the next video. But I wanted to bring you guys that information. I know this is pretty new for a lot of people. I was actually just at the career counselor's office today because, like I said, on my community post, whenever I make my YouTube videos, I'm likely at drill weekend. I have a lot going on during the rest of the month. This is a time where I have a lot more freedom to do really whatever. Okay, so unfortunately, you guys aren't always going to get videos, you know, throughout the month, but when something good comes up, I'll try to make sure that I make the video. And this, I think, is something good that's coming up. So that's why I think you should consider taking this bonus. If you've been out of the military for however long, that's what a prior service is. It could be a different branch. We're going to make sure we look at this NAVRES 4, okay, in its entirety, because this is just a FAQ, all right, that I just read to you. It's not necessarily saying all of the details, because there might be something that disqualifies you, okay? That's what I'm saying. However, it could be, as far as I know, it could be you coming from a different branch and you joining the Navy Reserves. Something I do want to say really quick before I get into why you should not take it. What am I saying, Lord? What am I saying? How do you get paid? There we go. How do you get this money? I don't know. And that might be something we're going to have to dig into the NAVRES, is it? The all NAVRES 4, 009/23, to know how it actually gets dispersed. Some people say it's, you can get 10 up front and then 33, or something like that, however the math calculates. Or it can be 10 and then like 10,000 on the first year, 5,000 on the second year, and 5,000 on the third year. And then I don't know for sure, but it's most likely not a huge lump sum. Okay, when bonuses come out, and then on top of that, you still have to pay taxes on it. So that's like maybe 20%. So you might just get, I don't know, what's 20% of 20,000? I don't know. Whatever that calculation is, you might just get that. Okay, which is, I mean, better than nothing. Okay, better than nothing. Okay, so let's talk about really quick why you might not want to get this bonus. Okay, whenever the Navy is putting out, or the military in general, I don't care who it is, it could be your job. Okay, wherever your civilian job, whenever a business or your employer is putting together this what looks like outlandish or really big, something that they don't usually do, makes me think about my ship days. It usually means that they're in need for a reason. There's a reason why these things are happening. You understand what I'm saying here? I don't know specifically what the reason is, but please understand, if you're working at a job, right, your civilian job, and they're like, hey, you know, we want to just do something nice for you guys, right? And then everybody gets a $5,000 bonus, right? It's like, okay, this is brand new. Y'all don't do this. Y'all barely give us a 25-cent raise, but you want to give us a $5,000 bonus? I don't know about this. This was kind of funny. This was funny, right? And then next thing you know, they have a huge layoff, right? Next thing you know, they have a huge layoff. Like, they're essentially saying, hey, that $5,000 was really your severance. Bye. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the Navy is doing that. Again, I have no clue why the Navy has this bonus. Most likely because of retention. Since COVID, retention has been low. And I'm pretty sure, okay, I'm not certain because, You know, I'm not the boss of the Navy or the military, but I'm pretty sure that since COVID, retention has been down. And we all know why, right? If you don't, well, do your research. Nonetheless, the reason that you might not want to take it is because there's a reason behind why they have this bonus, okay? And again, here on my channel, as a Navy transition coach, I'm not going to sit here and tell you